And we're back with the OS World Cup 2025 semifinals stage. Here we are moving down to the losers bracket for 10th seeded Chile going up against 5th seeded Germany. Both teams trying to vie their way into the top 8. Casting this match is myself, Miles, and joining me for this one is Mr. Fiery Rage. What's up?
Good morning, everybody. I love casting at 8 in the morning. We love the West Coast of America. I feel like I've complained about that every single time I've casted this tournament. Yeah, OS World Cup 2025 semifinals. We got the losers bracket matchup between Germany and Chile. Head-to-head, I think we kind of already expect what these teams are going to be picking, and I think Germany most likely just going to be sticking with that core mechanics roster that they have a massive advantage on against Chile. I would assume outside of maybe some of the genericer aim maps like DT1, Chile are going to be picking into the hidden primarily, as well as any of the sort of out there gimmicky picks. Could see a DT4 from them. Not entirely sure if they'd actually want to go for that. Nonetheless, this match will determine who goes up against New Zealand, who won against China earlier today in a upset win. Furthest New Zealand has ever gotten, I believe, in this tournament, so should be interesting to see whoever wins this go head-to-head against New Zealand later tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, that's just incredible stuff from them. I feel like a lot of people before the tournament had like a preconception of what the top 8 was going to look like, and I don't think anybody had on their bingo cards New Zealand is going to be the team to upset the status quo and make it into top 8. But nonetheless, congratulations to them, and they've got to be watching this stream and checking out their potential future opponents. Germany, as you said, gonna run through all the mechanics picks in this matchup. Chile, unfortunately in this matchup, one of their best picks from last week was the anti-mod map in free mod. I believe they got the 3rd best score on that, but there's no anti-mod in this pool, so not able to exploit that sort of category of map. But they are still going to pick the gimmicks, and you can see Germany representing that with their first ban, getting rid of our OS original Peach Pit and Cyanide. Kind of a sad ban, but I get
can't believe they would ban the OS original.
Yeah.
Boo. Well, we'll probably be seeing it picked at some point this weekend, I imagine, so it's not going to be a horrible loss, hopefully. Has it been picked in the 2 matches prior to this? I'm not actually too sure.
I'm not sure either. I wasn't awake for those matches. And 2 bans instantly coming out from Chile. No Entangle Knight, no Daraku no Sona. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
230 stamina gone, and kind of that techie tapping DT gone as well.
Yeah, that's more or less in line with what we expected. Germany has a very good speed roster. I accidentally went Venny Vine sauce mode for a second. My bad. But yeah, not wanting to deal with the speed. Free mod 2, DT2 out. They still do have DT3, but that's a bit more of a kind of unorthodox sort of double time speed pick, I would say. Pretty oddly accessible, I'd say, just because it's an old type of map. Germany banning no mod 5, more or less in line with what we expected. Absolutely no reading maps for Chile to take advantage of with that ban. So, no gimmick in terms of reading, at the very least, but they still do have 2 of the hidden picks to their disposal. And meanwhile, Germany has a lot of generic maps to their disposal, and wouldn't you know, no mod 1.
Yeah, I mean, this just seems like a great pick for Germany. I think this pool is really great for the AIM teams, like Germany and UK in particular, in my mind. They have 3 really good and really conventional AIM maps in the pool. In this, the hidden one and the hard rock one. And this one, it's more pattern aim. I mean, if you've been watching OWC for a long time, you know what these Melon Boy maps look like. Very good aim mapper, this one. 7.54 stars, 207 BPM. Not nearly as stamina intensive as the one in semifinals last year, but still a very straining map nonetheless.
Corsair's Close 2023 custom map, if I'm remembering correctly. So, pretty old custom map, but it's used here in the semifinals. I think this is grand finals for Corsair's, if I'm remembering correctly. Let me double check on that.
It was round of 16, actually.
Oh, right. I forgot
Close.
Corsair's Closed map pools were demon.
Yeah.
My bad.
Rosters locked in. Kriller, Flea, Denzel Curry, and Tim Kackner for Germany up against Sifs, Hanayume, Alfiu, and Inner Camping for Chile. As we're going to quickly get into this one after our 15-minute delay. Germany versus Chile, now underway. I think a lot of people looking at Kriller in this matchup for Germany was one of the highest performing players last week and really needing to carry his team against a Canada team that was out for blood because no other members of Germany in the top 50 performing players last week. Meanwhile, for Chile, Alfiu and Intercamping both performing around the top 20.
Few early misses from many people, but for right now, 3 FCs going into this first jumpy section. No one really having any issues with that first jump section. Chile, slight combo advantage, but not by much. Accuracy is making most of the difference in the early stages here.
Map is pretty long, so the early breaks aren't necessarily going to be debilitating for players' scores. We see some more breaks come out. One from Alfiu, gonna cede an early lead of around 27,000 to Germany. That's gonna build up as they continue their combos. And this is one of the easier parts of the map, so expect everyone to hold their combo here.
We saw a break earlier from Alfiu, but outside of that, no one's really having any issues with the transition to the jumpier parts. Granted, as soon as I say that, CFC will be missing, so Germany with a pretty massive combo advantage now has absolutely no trades on their side as we get into the next jumpier part relatively shortly. There goes intercamming as well. Not looking too good for Chile, especially now with the remaining FC gone. This is kind of what we expected, unfortunately, going into this.
Kriller does go down though, but all 3 German players besides Kriller do get through the Ki section with their big combos. So Tim Kackner, Denzel Curry, and Fle all doing really well on this one. And I think that's really what you wanted to see from Germany coming into this match. They can't rely on Kriller to carry them on everything. And if all the Germans are looking good, that's a good omen for the German team as we get into this intense section. Some bursts are going to come out. We're going to have some kick slider jumps coming in soon. A little bit of a diff spike here. Let's see if these Germans can get through it.
Not having any issues with the beginning, at the very least. Fly will be the first to drop. There goes Denzel Curry as well, and Tim Kackner.
Oh.
All of them dropping at the end. No one on Chile dropping during this hard part.
Yeah, very impressive. Good accuracy from Alfiu on this right now, 99.45%. As they get through all the streams, it's Hanayume and Intercamping to drop for Chile. And Germany, even though they did drop all of their big combos, Kriller's there with the 600-ish combo to match Alfiu, and there's already a 340k lead, and they should be able to run this one into the ending.
Yeah, the score lead, I think, is a bit too much for Chile to come back from, even with these combos from Seifs and Alfiu. If Kriller misses, like, ASAP, maybe there's a possibility there, but expecting Kriller to miss is okay. Ooh. Well, my bad. Apologies for that. Is there enough
Tim Kackner?
I don't think so.
Yeah, the Alfiu break there, I think, just put it out of reach. They did get the misses they needed, though. Tim Kackner with a massive chain miss. Oh, is maybe
and
having
tablet
some
pen died.
Tablet pen. Yeah. So, you know, you say that, there are the misses coming out from Germany. It is very quickly going back in favor of Chile because of the chain misses from Tim Kackner. It's way too late for an
I think
abort.
that's Bancho. That's Bancho. It was
That's Bancho?
lagging. Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah,
can tell
Bancho.
because, yeah, that's Bancho lagging. So the score might not be accurate here because I'm pretty sure that, unless that's actually happening.
I think it's both. It's like Bancho and like an actual technical difficulty, but luckily for Germany,
It's not even going to matter.
Yeah,
which is
still
good for
big
Germany, I suppose. But that definitely is a thing that happened. Luckily, it won't be affecting Germany's outcome on this, at the very least.
Very strong team score from them. If Tim Kackner hadn't had the technical issue, it would have been a four-way 500k on that. Losing a bunch of score with those 63 misses, but teammates having his back, 520k, 539k, and 580k. One miss from Fle. Meanwhile, on the side of Chile, Not too many great scores, just feels like one step down from Germany. The four-way 300k with Alfeu actually at 500ks.
Flow with a 1 miss. That's actually an insane performance from them. 500ks across the board, or would be 500ks across the board. Tim Kackner just unfortunately. Welcome to the OS client. We love when it bugs out randomly for no reason. Yeah, very solid pick for Germany. Kind of expected. They're the mechanics-oriented team. Nomad 1 was the very much mechanics-oriented Nomad map outside of Nomad 2, so might as well get it out of the way. Chile to follow up with their first pick. They're going to be going immediately for the gimmick Nomad 4 Desert. Everyone loves a good Halgo map.
This Halgo map, different from the one we had in qualifiers, which was just slider aim. This one has a lot of flow aim involved, a lot of streams in this map. And I think one of the more conventional Halgo maps just nonetheless. And should be a good pick for Chile though, very strong tech team. Get to see Intercamping and Alfeu play on one of their strong skill sets. But at the same time, it's a very strong skill set for Kriller too on the other side. Him just on these gimmickier maps, on these tech style maps, just one of the best in the game overall.
We have a little timeout coming from Germany, so we'll be on this screen for a while, and they'll probably be getting those tech issues sorted out, is what I imagine they're calling that timeout for. But yeah, not really too much to add from what you were saying, Miles. This is, I think, a pretty strong pick for Chile. They're going to definitely be relying, I think, a bit more on intercamping and, as you said, Alfeu to get pretty good scores on this, but more than up to the task.
Once again, so everyone in chat is aware of the situation, we delayed this match by 15 minutes for some technical issues, and we saw those in the previous map with Tim Kackner. And having those issues again, probably why Germany called this timeout.
I just want it's fair enough because everyone obviously wants to have the best match possible. One ideally with no issues whatsoever, having a flawless match, both in terms of internet connectivity issues and just general client issues. So if they can, they definitely want to prevent it from happening again. That's what they're going to be working on towards, trying to get that solved. We'll hope that they can.
It might be a hardware issue with how his pen, it just looked like he couldn't like move his pen at one point.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking as well. Like, it just kind of stopped giving inputs there for a second from what I saw.
Yeah, for Germany's sake, we hope that Tim Kackner can get his setup working well, because that would be a strong player and a really bad one to be missing if these tech issues do persist for him. Meantime, though, we get to listen to some nice Agushi Hasegawa.
It's a pretty vibe song to have for the timeout, in all fairness.
Yeah, totally.
Timeout should be coming to a close here relatively shortly, so should be seeing some of the rosters start to trickle in here.
In comes Chalk Gamer for Chile. First time for this match. One of their, I think, higher skill cap players who's going to be relied upon to fill in on this map pool.
If they can't get the issues with Tim Kackner sorted, I'm actually wondering who would want to be the fourth on this, because I would imagine he would be coming in for this.
I feel like potentially Okinamo would be a good fill on this map, generally being a good tech player, especially on these streamier tech maps.
I think it could be between, I think Yari and Zatefrost are probably going to be here at some point. There's Zatefrost, so I think Yari probably would be the fill, if I'd imagine, or even if it's going to be a fill. Seems like they're going to be rolling with Kackner, since asking for a move. Seems to hopefully have gotten a tech issue sorted out. In the meanwhile, Chile has their full roster in Gonza, Alfio, Shockgamer, Intercamming. Eyes on the right side of the screen, as well as Kriller in Germany. I think everyone kind of already knows to expect Kriller to do well on this.
Aimbot Cone actually going to be taking the 4th spot for Germany, so player I think people generally label as a speed specialist coming in for this one, but more well-rounded than most people know. Go up against...
I think they were running out of time, which is why they had to get Aimbot Cone in, because it looked like they wanted Tim Kackner in for this, but Aimbot Cone is definitely able to play this, so not really any problems there. Just not who they expected to come in for this, I would imagine.
Yeah, we saw Okinamo jump in the lobby. Maybe it was timer running out, just screaming in VC, someone get in, someone get in. Maybe not as good at this, finding a couple breaks on the beginning, but he did gather his footing as we get into the beginning difficult section. Gonza to find that early drop on Chile to match it though. It's going to be a very early lead to Germany though, but we're only 200 combo into this 4-minute map.
Yeah, a bit dicey in the beginning there, but he's settled in quite nicely. No issues whatsoever with that first hard part. Just that drop on Gonzo, really. Or Gonza, really. Aimbot Cone might as well be FCing. Shockgamer as well with the slider break during the easier part. Not going to be helping at all. There goes Gonza as well. So, once again, we were mentioning Chile, Alfio, and Intercamming very good at this. But they're going to need some supporting combo, and it doesn't help when Intercamming as well as breaking. Cone and Curry do trade, so at least they have that going for them. But 2 FCs to just 1 now.
A 2v1 is a place that's fine for Germany. They're going to gather a score lead with that. But Alfio is there still for Chile, holding on to the FC, but he's standing there alone as the combos start to build back up on the side of Germany, and Shockgamer continues to struggle.
Cone is trading those misses as we get into the second hard part here. Yeah, it's more or less just what we've been seeing throughout most of the map. It's Shockgamer, Gonza struggling to find a combo right now. Luckily for them, Cone is as well. Curry has built up a somewhat sizable supporting combo, but it's just those double FCs coming in from Zatefrost still holding on to the FC. And Kriller, God bless your accuracy. I don't imagine that's going to be lasting that long, though.
Yeah, especially as we're about to get into one of the harder parts of the map again. Yeah, this is a fine status quo for Germany. But here we go into the hardest section of the map. This is where the streams get the most intense, and it catches out Alfio right there at the start. There are now no combos left alive on Chile, but 500 on Shockgamer. But now all eyes on Kriller as Zatefrost drops. Only FC left in the lobby, and he does go down. Superb accuracy aside, he did lose his combo.
Wait, this could... Okay, I was going to say, this could get interesting. Shockgamer was actually holding throughout most of that section, but drops at the very end with one of those 1/4 jumps. I think with that miss, Chile probably has the door shut on them in this map, and Germany will be taking the first break point of the match. Still a third of the map left, but 250k I think is a bit hard of an ask with the highest combo being Alfio at the moment. It is possible if everyone in Germany keeps missing like that, though.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Germany just outran Chile on this pick. Even though the breaks do come in, it feels like a situation like last map where if they were down only 120k, I would say this is possible, but it's 220k. Germany just did too well in the first half of this map with Zatefrost and Kriller, and now into the ending, just no time for Chile, I think, even if Kriller does break.
There is a universe where Germany just completely chain misses at the end here.
Wait, Zatefrost?
And that universe might be possible. No one on Chile is missing. It's just Kriller on the combo. This is shifting over very rapidly. If Kriller misses here, this could be disastrous for Germany. He has to hold.
Oh,
I think he's done just barely enough, maybe?
Oh, so
that
close.
That Kriller hold was the only reason Germany kept in that map.
Kriller just holding through the ending. If he had found the break, that would have gone over to Chile. That is heartbreaking for Chile, holding through the hardest part of the map. But ultimately, it was not enough, as Kriller was there for Germany. Their rock. 2 misses, 98.8%, a really good score from him.
Shout out to Alfie on the S rank as well. Almost high accuracy in the lobby. Kriller just barely beating it out with the 2 miss. But yeah, 600 Ks from both of them. That was getting pretty close towards the end. It could have been anyone's map, really. And Chile, despite not winning that, I think have a general idea on what they probably want to be picking into, just based on how the scores went on that.
Yeah, Alfiu with the 1 slider break. That's a really insane score from him. Just really close as that map ender. Just a heartbreaking point to lose for Chile is now. Pick goes back to Germany. They're probably going to pick another mechanics map. They've still got 2 DTs remaining that I think are pickable, as the DT4 is just in its own category right here. I think Nomad 2 could also be a good pick from them, or the HR1. But it's going to be the Nomad 3, actually. That is not at all the pick I expected from Germany in this matchup. Kind of this like gimmicky, like snap aim alt pick, similar almost to Event Horizon map by Yaspo, if you know that map.
Well, they banned the other OS original in the map pool outside of the tiebreaker, so they obviously had to go and pick into this, so you know how it is. OS original by Steel Plus, made for the semifinals of the OS World Cup 2025. One of 3 originals this weekend. Very happy to see this one pick. The song is really good.
Yeah, Steel Plus, just really an exceptional artist. Did the Rabbit and Steel OST, if you played that game, among other really nice soundtracks, and it's really happy to have them on board this year. The song is great.
Map made by everyone's favorite United Hidden Hard Rock player, Azer. Highest PP play in the game.
True.
Eventually that joke will be old, but today is not that day.
Not yet. As long as I'm alive, that joke will never get old.
Helped with by Megafan. I believe Azer, I obviously don't know the circumstances regarding the pull, but I think Azer was kind of recruited to help Megafan with this, if I'm remembering correctly.
I don't remember exactly how it went, but it is a collab between...
You're the map pooler, man. You should know this.
Okay, well, I'm not the one prying into every custom. Yeah,
you
nonetheless,
need to know everything. You need to know absolutely everything.
I need to be just like I need to be this paragon of information about pooling. Yep, got the teams in the lobby. Kriller, Zyfrost, Aimbot Cone, and Denzel Curry for the side of Germany, up against Intercamping, Alpha Chalk Gamer, and Hanayume. This Nomad 3 OS Original. Here we go.
First time Hanayume has been seen in the lobby. See how they perform on this. Outside of that, though, I think Germany running the exact same roster they had on that Nomad 4, which is, I guess, kind of expected. This is still somewhat of a gimmicky-oriented type of map. Somewhat more straightforward than the slider tech, granted, but...
This feels like it's somewhere between the realms of an alt map and a kind of gimmicky rhythm map. Really, it tests a lot, and Azer will tell you himself that it's really tough to put a label on this one. You can see these snap patterns really difficult, already catching out multiple players. Chalk Gamer, Hanayume, Kriller, Aimbot Cone, Zyfrost, everyone is breaking here on the side of Germany. Only Denzel Curry alive, still holding on to the double S, but he goes down as well, so now it's Intercamping and Alfiu. And Chile is going to take an early lead on this one. This map not that long, so the early lead is going to be run out very quickly.
I think this is kind of what we expected to see on Nomad 4, which is Intercamping and Alfiu popping off to help their team get a point. And right now, they're just doing exactly that. Decent supporting score from Chalk Gamer as well. But this is absolutely insane from Intercamping and Alfiu. Even everyone on everywhere. Like, it's not even just the German side. Chile, outside of Intercamping and Alfiu, are struggling on this map, and they're just making this map look like a 2-star map right now. This is ridiculous. Intercamming was holding onto an SS there. I did not want to mention that, but... Okay, well, I guess that's what I get for mentioning it. Alpha, you still hold... Oh, okay.
And every combo is gone now. Third of the map left. It's literally just Kriller with any sort of combo. 270 of that, and I don't think he's going to be able to take back the score lead alone. But that is an incredible run from Intercamping and Alpheu, doing enough to gather a 270k lead.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be enough with just Kriller's combo. We'll be shifting over to the German side. Probably going to see around a 150k score lead. Somewhere around that, I would imagine. But yeah, Alpheu and Intercamming. The inverse of what happened in the last map. Them popping off and Kriller popping off on this ending now, but it's not going to be enough, unfortunately.
Yeah, score lead is going down very quickly, but just not enough time. 180k, and it is breakpoint taken right back for Chile.
Oneness. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah, Fiery, how many curses have you done this match in just 3 maps?
This is my legacy game, man, alright?
Yep.
This is my legacy run.
Is your Steph Curry 60-point performance?
Let's keep it going, baby. Let's keep it going. Chile with the next pick, so breakpoint immediately, right back. Basically, the equivalent of that last map never happened. They get to pick into another one of their, hopefully, I would assume, gimmicky-oriented maps. Still have the entire Hidden pool outside of Hidden 2 open. So I honestly would not be too surprised to see Hidden 3 come out. That was a very alt-flow-oriented map with a lot of just weird changes in rhythm and slider velocity. It's just a weird map in general. It's very hard to describe that map.
I think I like Chile on the free mod pool going forward in this match, and they are going to go for free mod 4. I was thinking this one, kind of another snap aim alt pick. If you're taking this win into your picking strategy, you want to go to this map next. Just really awkward aim, a lot of very difficult snap patterns in this one, and also a very long one, so it's going to be more focus on being consistent on those types of patterns. And they saw the low scores from Germany and thought, this might be a good pick, and I agree with them.
And Gazimal, mapper that's risen to prominence for a lot of different reasons the past 2 years or so. It's been very prominent in the mapping scene. Finally gets to make an Osterworld custom. I believe the first time they've made one, unless I'm just absolutely misremembering something that they did last year, but...
I think we love picking existing Gazimal maps, but this is the first year where he's come on board and made a custom for us. And just, this was one of the coolest maps to work on. Didn't have to make too many changes to this one. Very nice to work with, but very difficult though. This one was originally made to be in the no mod pool, ended up making some changes and moving it down to free mod, and I think we're going to see some Hard Rock players really struggling on this one this weekend, Fiery.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost 8 stars base SR, highest in the free mod pool by far. This is definitely going to be probably one of the most difficult maps in the pool if you take Hard Rock on it.
And I'm curious to see who does go with the Hard Rock. I think if you're Chile, you can't afford to put Intercamping or Alpheu on the Hard Rock because of how much you're going to rely on them to just carry in general. Could expect to see maybe Hanayume and No37 both taking mods.
Yeah, No37 obviously is going to be taking Hidden. He's a Hidden preference player first and foremost. It would very much surprise me to see him not on Hidden on this if he's coming in, honestly. Hanayume, I think they'll probably just toss on the Hard Rock, be like, Intercamming and Alpheu, no mod, carry us. That's what I imagine the game plan is here. This is definitely a solo carryable map pool, so that strategy is actually something that is valid. And I imagine we'll be seeing somewhat of the same thing from Germany. Kriller is definitely going to be on the no mod. Okinamo probably on the Hidden and Cone on the Hard Rock, if I had to guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, Aimbot Cone leaving the lobby.
Might be Tim Kackner coming in for Hard Rock.
Yeah, Tim Kackner would usually be the player to play Hard Rock for them on the free mods. He's really strong on Hard Rock, has been doing it for them for years. See Kriller and Zeitfrost ideally on the no mod here. And there's Tim Kackner, so strong player for Germany back in the lobby. Hopefully his PC can hold up this time.
Or whatever was causing a tech issue, really. We don't know if it was his PC or tablet or what. Hopefully he's got it sorted out, though. That's all we can hope for. Mods were just as we expected, so getting into the map proper now.
Yeah, you'll see this map is really consistent, not much downtime at all on this one. You see these snap patterns in the start. These repeat for the entire map, except for a couple of diff spikes in the chorus. It will remain always, I think, at this difficulty for the map. We see early breaks come out from Tim Kackner and Zeitfrost as they adjust.
I mean, to be fair, this map, as you said, is very hard, so it's very hard to get adjusted to a map like this, I'd say. Wouldn't surprise me to see some more breaks come in from pretty much anyone here. Map doesn't really ever give you a break. That back and forth is brutal. Catches out Hanayumi, Tim Kackner, and Zeitfrost, but Chile at the moment not having the best of it. Intercoming in number 37 and Alfie missing on, I don't know what he missed on there, but Kriller and Okinamo now, the remaining FCs, the staples of the German roster. I've seen them in so many OWCs at this point. We'll see how long they can hold these combos to build up a combo and score lead at the moment. There goes Okinamo. It's just Kriller now.
Yeah, those back and forth jumps during the Kiais are so difficult, but Kriller managing to get through them. So does Hanayume and Intercamping on the side of Chile. So those two combos about to match Kriller, and it's actually a slight lead on the side of Chile, despite the huge combo advantage because Tim Kackner's accuracy is so low, down at just 92. And Hanayume finding a break on that back and forth right before this bridge section again. Hanayume very impressive comboing that Kiai section on Hard Rock, but does find the drop, and now Germany with a 27k lead. It's looking good for them.
The issue with that score lead, though, is this is solely relying on Kriller to keep combo. And if he breaks, unfortunately, on literally any pattern in this, that score lead is going to pretty much immediately shift over to Chile. Intercamming is trying his best to hold on to a counter combo at the moment, which is the reason the score lead isn't growing drastically out of hand. Number 37 and Alfie also have decent support. We get into the next hard part here. We'll see what happens. There goes Tim Kackner on one of the supporting combos on the German side. But we're gonna need something from these big combos.
Oh, there's Kriller.
Oh boy. Oh, and Zeitfrost as well. No combos on the side of Germany. There goes the score lead immediately. Number 37 does miss, but it doesn't matter. No mod scores from Intercamming and Alfie. Going to be holding on to the line here. Chile grabs the lead right back.
Object in mirror may be closer than they appear, and Intercamping and Alfie, those combos just stole the lead right under Germany's noses, and now the lead has flipped. 80k now in favor of them. The no mod combos going into the final chorus section, they just have to hold for a little bit longer, and they should be in the clear on this one. There's really no combos on Germany to contest.
They secured the point at this point. It's just whether or not Alfie and Intercamming want to keep going further. Oh my god, dude, what are they doing on this ending?
Dude.
What is this, bro?
God mode, dare I say. That's incredible stuff once again from the two carries of Chile, Intercamping and Alfie. Second half, surging forward, taking this pick and equalizing the score. Now 2 apiece for both of these teams.
Shoutouts to Kriller as well, hitting that entire ending. One miss again from Kriller at 99.4.
Dude.
These scores are nuts, man.
Insane.
And Alfie, the standout players there. Kriller on the 1 miss on Germany, but that was definitely more of a team effort, I'd say, from Chile. They had very good supporting scores from their mod players. Hanayume on an 11 miss, which is honestly pretty impressive, especially on Hard Rock on this map.
Yeah, I mean, 350k on Hard Rock, that is good enough. I mean, that's a good score in my books. So yeah, everyone on Chile doing their jobs on this one. It was a great pick from them, especially after that No Mod 3, winning the snap alt category of this map pool if there would be such one. And now Germany, pick back to them. I think they should go for a mechanics map here now. Something like Nomad 2, something like a Hard Rock 1. Potentially one of the remaining DT picks, or the free mod one, I think would also be good for them.
Anything in the generic realm, really, I think, fits their bill pretty nicely here. I wouldn't be too surprised to see DT3 come out, personally speaking, but DT1, Hard Rock 1, any of those, we love aim and generic mapping styles would work here.
And I think Tim Kackner still persisting with some technical difficulties, so we'll see. But
he was expressing some frustration there, which is understandable. I can definitely get him expressing frustrations. Okinama with the clutch spam there, but shouldn't hopefully make too much of a difference going forward for Germany, with Tim Kackner being out, DT1 being the pick.
Not the first time someone has tilted an OWC, and certainly will not be the last. But yeah, this DT1, Dread of the Grave, it's a lower BPM DT1 compared to a lot of people are used to. I believe 232 BPM, AR 10.1, a lot of finger control and a lot of aim, but neither of which I think are too intense, but the combination makes this map pretty difficult. I think we've seen a couple FCs on this so far, one from Paper Candle, which was really impressive.
You know, DT1s usually are the maps with some of the highest star ratings that you usually see a couple of FCs from players on. This definitely, I think, fits that bill. A bit harder, arguably, than the DT1 last week, though, in terms of just general FC ability, I suppose. Remote control, definitely a lot easier for players to access, I think, in comparison to this.
Yeah, just like a different type of map overall, but this one also has a lot of uptime, but it does have some like bridge sections where you can slow down and catch your breath, because the song does repeat, so you have the slow beginning happening twice in this map of the song, which gives you a chance to catch your breath. If you can FC through the first section, you have a section to really build up a big combo. And then also, dare I mention, the extremely long spinner at the end of this map. You're able to get almost 60k score, 70k score on the spinner if you're spinning 477. So if this is close going into that spinner, we could potentially see a spin to win. And it's not every day you get to say that about a map.
Hopefully, for both of these teams' sake, it doesn't come down to a spin to win, though. It would be definitely tense for the viewers, but I'd imagine not many of the players would want their map point to rely on solely how fast they can spin. Unless they're good at spinning, in that case, then they'll definitely want that, but starting off in the map here. Accuracy struggling is kind of expected from that finger control intensive oriented section at the beginning, but no combos drop. And we'll get into the map proper.
Denzel Curry, Fleck, Kriller, and Okinama for Germany. Intercamping Alpha, Chalk Gamer, and Gonza for Chile. And Germany is going to take an early lead on this one as Gonza finds an early drop. You can see we're already into a kind of difficult section on this. Breaks coming out from Gonza, Alpha, and Okinamo. Still the three-way FC alive for Germany. Going to be running away with this lead.
Things pretty much remaining more or less constant. Very solid at triple FC. Remaining for Germany, intercamming to try and hold off as much as he can. But unless something drastic happens. Oh, well, there's something drastic. Not for the right side, though. For if you're rooting for Chile. There goes intercamming and Alphew. And this is looking to be an incredibly strong pick from Germany, as we kind of expected going into this.
Denzel Curry, Fle, and Kriller all getting through that first intense section with full combos. They're going to be rewarded with a slow section to build up their lead even more. And that's going to be running away from Chile very quickly. Going to be about 100k per 10 seconds on this score lead as long as Germany's holding to the three-way, and this is already an incredible team score from them.
I think, honestly, they probably have this in the bag just from these combos alone. This is a kind of nuts team score from them. They're just going to keep on pushing it further. Okinamo, bless his heart, the uncle is trying.
Sometimes you just got to come in and fill. You know, you might expect Tim Kackner to come in to be that fourth on DT for them. Might put up a better score, but that doesn't matter to Germany in this matchup. Still 3 FCs as we go into the next intense section. And Denzel Curry finding a break right into the beginning of it, but there's no combos on Chile at all. It's 700k of score lead, still holding on to 2 FCs. How far can Fled and Kriller take this?
This is like... as much as I want to dog on Okinamo, like, it literally wouldn't matter if he's in the lobby. They would still be winning this pick by a lot. This is kind of ridiculous team score-wise from Germany. Flef finally drops, but Kriller holding on to the FC, and it literally doesn't matter. A million score lead, no combos really on the side of Germany. Or not Germany, on Chile. Granted, Germany as well, outside of Kriller, but Intercamming is trying his best. Just not really enough map to do anything, and Kriller, this is just ridiculous, man.
Yeah, I mean, Kriller and Fleb by the end of this are going to be able to probably 2v4 this lobby, as Kriller has just got one more difficult section to get through, and he does find the break. So no FC for Kriller, but still a great team score from Germany, going to be eclipsing 3 million on this one by the end of it, and 1.1 million plus score for Germany on the lead. You could actually subtract Kriller's score, and they would still have the lead.
Shoutouts to Okinamo, hit that ending. The uncle has got it. He might say thank you, team, but the uncle still does, in fact, have it.
All right, here's the spinner.
He has the potential.
Spinning is a skill set, and let's see who's the winner of this one. I like Okinamo. It's
looking to be Kriller and Okinamo. I think they have the best spin here.
Intercamping close, though. 76 from Kriller. Gets over a mil.
That was just a solid team performance from Germany on that. Not really anything else to say. Kriller standout score, but you had Flat 800k, Denzel Curry at 750k. Even Okinamo almost breaking 500k on that, which is better than most of the Chilean roster. That was just team gap through and through. Not much else to say. 3-2 in favor of Germany as Chile gets to their third pick now.
Not quite a 2v4 from Kriller and Flab, but close enough, and those stats are only for those are only for style points. Great pick from Germany. And now Chile, now once again pressured to get a good pick in, and it's going to be the Hard Rock 2 instantly from Chile. They were ready for this one. Stairway to the Universe, Calionet map. This one, very awkward linear aim on a CS 6.8 for the most part.
And this is interesting for Chile to pick into, because if they're going to be picking into this, DT4 actually is a valid option for them, depending on how this map goes, granted, but if they win this, that opens up DT4 as a possibility for them, and that could get pretty interesting.
Yeah, this is testing the waters, definitely. If we're ever going to see a DT4 pick, it would come from a team like Chile after winning a map like this. And that map is CS9 for the uninitiated in chat, which is skill set that I don't think has ever been pooled in World Cup, and many teams have not wanted to touch that map with a 10-foot pole. So, see how this one goes for Chile. You expect Intercamping and Alphew to stay in the lobby no matter what. Alphew probably just out to get some practice in, as Sifs and Hanayume in the lobby to join. And this is another map where I think Germany would really want to have Tim Kackner in the lobby, and Chile probably recognizing this and trying to pick maps that are more difficult and more niche, where it's tougher to find fill players like Okinamo on the previous map. actually no Alfeu right now for Chile. Chalk Gamer gonna come in right now, occupy a spot in the lobby. As Flet and Zeitfrost join Denzel Curry. Have to expect Kriller to take that final spot for Germany. And there it is. Rosters are locked. Here's Chile's third pick. Stairway to the Universe, a precision map, 152 BPM. See if they can get on the board once again to equalize.
Made by Calionetta, I'd say somewhat notable Chinese mapper, and kind of as you'd expect from the general Chinese mapping clique, it is very much an unorthodox map.
You can already see the awkward aim. You have to jump across your screen for some of these patterns where they aren't necessarily like high spacing, like jumps in a traditional sense with a 1-4 gap, but to get to the next pattern, having to go all the way across the screen, just really difficult. As we see early breaks coming out from Zeitfrost, from Flet, and Denzel Curry, intercamping and Chalk Gamer as well. So it's Hanayume and Sifs holding down the fort for Chile out of the beginning. Since this is a shorter map, those early misses are going to mean a lot.
Couple of early misses as well. Or not early at this point, but intercamming and Chalk Gamer struggling to hold on to combo, which does give combo advantage back to Germany, especially with Sifs dropping the FC. Flood does drop in return in Kriller as well. So Hanayume is the only combo finally going to be dropping there. Zeitfrost and Curry with the highest combos in the lobby. There goes Zeitfrost, so just Curry now. No one really having any sizable combo on this map, which frankly is kind of expected at this high of circle size and arguably one of the hardest maps in the pool. And with that miss from Curry, and will be back in favor of Chile.
Yeah, just so close. Lead balanced on a knife's edge here. Just a third of the map remaining. It's a slight combo lead in favor of Chile. But players have been missing so much in the difficult sections of this that it could swing back on a moment's notice, and Chalk Gamer and Hanayume go down. So now Germany, as we get into another difficult section, are going to have the opportunity to take over as intercamping finds the drop. Flet finds the drop. It is just an absolute fiesta. Everyone's missing. It's just Kriller and Denzel Curry on the combos.
And that's what matters the most right now, these combos at the end. Curry's still holding onto the combo. The only combo in the lobby finally drops, but there's no combo on the side of Chile. Unless there's chain misses from the German side, I think this is going to be a break point somewhat solidly in their favor. Oh my god. What is going on in this ending?
This ending is pretty difficult.
Yeah, it's kind of demon.
Yep. Germany escaping, though, with that one, getting the breakpoint, 37,000 points only. Massive clutch there from Denzel Curry and Kriller, getting that lead up so they can survive the ending of this pick. Sifs and Hanayume trying their best for Chile, but unfortunately for them, it's going to be a breakpoint ceded to Germany, and they have the next pick and are likely to go back to that DT pool with it.
Another very close pick from Chile. Nomad 4 went the way of Germany. This one will as well. Last time this happened, though, Germany had a breakpoint and they immediately got breakpointed back. We'll see if that happens in this case as the pool size dwindles a bit. Germany still do have some of the speed and generic stamina-oriented maps. You have Nomad 2, DT3, Hard Rock 1. Fremod 1, I guess, can also fill that bill, but I'm not too sure if they would want to go for that necessarily.
I think Nomad 2 could also be a good pick for them, as well as the Fremod 1. Although I think Fremod is a little bit more risky against a Chile team that has preferred to play Fremod a lot of the time, but they are going to go for the HR1, so fast aim map. You know, in spirit, this is like pretty similar to being a DT pick. It's 255 BPM fast aim on Hard Rock. So definitely something that goes down Germany's alley if you're picking straightforward maps.
There is an insane amount of triples in this map. So if you're not able to tap 255, you will not have a fun time on this. Granted, it's more accessible in that regard, since it's just triples for the most part, but that is a potential possibility. Shoutouts to VTubers, ASCII, with the cover, or not even cover, I think this is an original song made by her.
Yeah, this one's a certified banger, in my opinion.
I feel like we're probably going to be seeing the Hard Rock lineups come in for both of these teams. More or less what you saw on the last pick, maybe a couple swaps here and there. It seems like Tim Kackner is going to be coming in for Hard Rock 1, which is kind of what we expected. Tim Kackner is a Hard Rock player through and through, more than capable of playing this. Hopefully tech issues sorted out. At the very least can get what you would expect to get on this.
And Alfiu also making his return for Chile. Want to bring that guy back in on as many maps as you can. As Hanayume and Sifs, the two top scorers for Chile on the previous map, coming in for another HR aim pick. I think this roster for Chile on this is still very lethal if Germany does have their foot off the gas for just a second on this one, especially if Tim Kackner manages to have some more technical issues.
I mean, even without that, Chile has a very good roster on paper on this. They're more than capable of countering generic aim. It's just whether or not there's a pop-off score on the side of Germany. I think everyone's going to be most likely focusing on Kriller to see what he can do on this, but this is arguably his weakest skill set outside of speed. It's definitely not something I would personally put Kriller in as being exceptional, but he's more than capable of playing this, so we'll see what happens.
As we do see early misses come out from both Fle and Kriller, the Alfiu and Sifs matching both. Hanayume as well, a break on the slower section, so early lead for Germany out of the beginning here. But this map, I think it could really be categorized by its spikes. There's 8 different difficult sections plus when it comes to the aim, with some parts to kind of calm yourself down in between them. But the most difficult ones are going to be the chorus sections, and we're about to get into the first one now as Hanayume finds another break during the slower part.
The first chorus coming in here. Map is pretty consistent in difficulty, I'd say, especially during these hard parts. You can pretty much just find misses on anything, but for right now, it's only affecting Chile. Sifs with a slider break, and as we mentioned, Hanayume with the earlier break in the intro to that chorus. But outside of that, no one really having any issues. There's the horizontal spike jumps. Curry and Hanayume trade on that one, but outside of that, ooh, intercamming missing on air. Tim Kackner does trade it.
So it's Kriller and Flev versus Alfiu, but Alfiu finds a drop again on this lower section. Feels like Chile are finding a lot of breaks between the jump spikes. Maybe like trying to adjust their grip during this lower section and just finding unfortunate misses, but it's really biting them on this map. Germany now into the next chorus section, should be able to run this lead pretty far.
See how far they can take it as we get into another hard part here. Potential for Kriller and Fle to miss still, but Chile's going to need to hold on to some combos very soon, and right now they're kind of struggling to get that started, unfortunately. And even with that being said, Fle and Kriller are just not missing right now, so...
Yeah, I mean, we questioned Kriller on this, but only finding the break at the very start, and 99.5%. This is what you have to expect from one of the best players in the tournament scene. Oh, Fle! What did Fle
That was
break on?
crazy. He missed earlier. He missed on the horizontal jumps, granted, but that's a crazy mistake.
Yeah,
it won't matter too much, thankfully.
If he missed if he missed on the jumps, then he was definitely just readjusting his grip there. Tim Kackner finds a break as well, but it's Denzel Curry and Kriller, and there's no combo on Chile to really contest this. It's 500k of lead as we get into the hardest jump of the map, and both of the Germans hit it.
Kriller, you don't need to prove me wrong, man. Like, come on. My bad for doubting you.
Yeah, he's just going to hit all of these jumps because he's just one of the best in the tournament.
He hates me. He wants to spite me. Fair enough.
Yep. He's fighting all of your curses right now. He's got the divine protection on him.
Oh, still one hard jump section to go, and there he goes, finally on that last hard jump section. Not very happy about it, but 850k at minimum for him. Still very much an impressive score, highest in the lobby by a wide margin. Overall, though, Team Germany, just team gap on that, no one below 500k.
Another great pick for Germany to bring themselves up to match point. Chile now, tournament life on the line. If they want to finish any higher than top 12, they've got to win 4 points straight, including the tiebreaker and a German break point. But at the very least, they do have their selection to come first from the remaining picks in the pool. And what if they just pick DT4 anyways, Fiery?
Throw it to the wall and see what sticks when your back is on the line. I mean, fair enough. If they want to go for it, they can. I feel like, realistically speaking, it's probably a hidden pick here. Hidden 1 or hidden 3. I imagine hidden 3 out of the maps remaining, but could potentially go for that DT4. Or just a free mod. Free mod 4 worked out for them fairly well.
I think I like free mod 3 from them, if they were to pick that. The very large CS2 tech pick that's very, very straining. The map is very long and doesn't really have any downtime. And they have such a strong free mod roster that I think that would be a good pick from them. I would steer clear of HR, do not touch HR3, but they're going to go for DT3. Okay, this pick, as much as I've been saying that Germany is likely to pick it, this pick is a little bit quirky as a 300 BPM DT pick because the OD is not too high. It's mostly an alt map with bursts that aren't too long, so you're able to cheese them if you have the finger control for it, and Chile just deciding to go on into one of the strongest speed teams in the tournament.
In fairness, I think the immediate comparison from last pool on this map would be DT4. They're both similarly pretty old maps. I think this one's from 2011? And the DT4 from last week was from 2009, so these are pretty old maps that have a very distinct old map style, I guess you could say. And I think Chile arguably does better on the older map DT style than Germany. They picked into it and got 3 million last time in the quarterfinals weekend, so I'm not actually totally against this pick, to be honest.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a rolling the dice sort of pick. I compare it a little bit to the 300 BPM DT map from last year in this stage, actually, with, I think it was Nissan's map of Arrival of Tears, where it is mostly an alt map and the bursts aren't that long and you can mash through them, but that one had those stacks at the end of the burst to cheat you if you were over-tapping, so you couldn't really double-tap through those because by the end of it, you're going to miss on by over-tapping the stack. But this map doesn't really have that, so really easy to just mash your way through this if you want to. But nonetheless, I think Intercamping and Alphew are going to be good on this. But the remaining players, I would expect to see some double tapping.
I think we'll be seeing Seeps and Chalk Gamer in on this for the remaining Chilean roster. Or Gonza. Yeah, Gonza as well. Makes sense to put in on this.
And here's Aimbot Cone, one of the most specialized speed players on a German team that's full of a lot of strong speed players. And Kriller is going to stay in the lobby for this one. So we'll see how he does with the high BPM, the over 300 BPM on this map. Is he going to be turning up those rapid trigger settings? Are we going to see any overtaps?
We'll see what happens. This is primarily an alt map outside of the bursts, which the vast majority of this ends up kind of being somewhat of a high BPM alt map, you could say. There's a couple bursts like that one right there, but no one missing on that. And for the most part, this is just a 160 BPM alt map with some of these pattern choices. And no one really having any issue with the burst at the very least. Everyone hitting it despite the low accuracies on some of the players. Top Gamer going to be the first one to miss on an all-pattern intercamming as well. And Gonza not looking good for Chile in the early stages.
And there goes Alphew as well. I think they may have just lost the tournament, Fiery. Denzel Curry and Aimbot Cone. There's still a lot of map to go. But on DT, that score is going to go up so quickly, and 2 FCs to nothing. They have no combo to contest the big combos on Germany, but there is still half the map to go. And they're going to need to see them break as soon as possible. Aimbot Cone and Denzel Curry just pulling this one forth for Germany.
Probably going to be needing to miss at minimum during the next hard part. But Chile's also going to need to hold on to combos, and unfortunately for them, they're just not really able to find any at the moment. And I think even with misses from Cone and Curry, this would still be a German win. This is getting very out of hand very fast. Curry finally finds a miss, but Aimbot Cone, the resident speed player on the German roster. Accuracy does not matter. Combo is what matters, and he's holding on to it. A 100k score lead. We're going to be saying goodbye to Chile from the Auss World Cup.
They are finishing in line with their seeding, seed 10 finishing top 12, as Germany progresses into the top 8 to face that resurgent New Zealand roster that looked so good earlier today against China. And that one's going to be going on tomorrow, but until then, goodbye to Chile, losing this one 2-6 against Germany.
And once again, that was just a team gap overall. No one below 500k again. Denzel Curry, Aimbot Cone with the S rank, Aimbot Cone with the FC. Just very low accuracy, but hey, highest score in the lobby, so that doesn't matter.
Yeah, great stuff from Aimbot Cone on that one. Great stuff from Germany in this match. I think got a lot of impact from a lot of players in this one, which is good after the quarterfinal stage where statistically they were really relying on Kriller up against Canada, but this acting as a great bounce-back match for the German roster, who are going to be going up to face one of the toughest dark horses I think we've seen in Auss World Cup history, Fiery.
It should be a very interesting match. New Zealand, everyone kind of wrote them off in the early stages, I think, and they're out for a vengeance. They want to get as far as possible, and you know what? I want to see them get into the finals weekend. They're going to be going up against Germany. We'll see if they're up to the task. That's going to be happening tomorrow. We still do have one match today. Technically 2, if you're in the United States, but one match today, and that's going to be the one taking place on the mainstream right now. UK versus Russia. And right now, UK up 1-0 as we get into their Nomad 1 pick. We'll be sending it over to them. It's been Miles and Fiery. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.